This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports in Chaco. We're delighted to be joined once again with Honey Badger, Eddie Treacy. How are you, mate?
How's it going, Steve? How you go, mate?
All's fantastic. It's been a long time. Obviously, I think the last time we spoke to you was in October. You obviously just moved to 5-0. I guess probably it's nearly every conversation we're sort of having with a lot of boxers now that's the inactivity sort of creeping back in again. But I guess you've been used to it. Obviously, before your last fight, you're out of the ring 2 years as well. So the sort of 10 months of the ring sort of feel like nothing sort of to you now.
Yeah, it's especially after the last fight because it was 2 years nearly. I think the week of it, been out of the ring due to the pandemic. So it's nothing now. Once, like I said before, once I can put in a decent camp, 8, 10 weeks, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So the inactivity doesn't really mean nothing to me. Once I have 8 weeks notice, so I can put in a decent camp. That's when I'm ready to go.
And I'm obviously seeing on Instagram every morning you're still doing your 4:30 in the morning runs before you go to work.
Yeah, happy
So,
going.
so it's always the first thing I see. Get up in the morning, and obviously Eddie Tracy's story 4:30 in the morning. I'm going, I'm still sleeping at that stage, you know.
I know I get a lot of messages, all right, people saying, "What's wrong with you? You half matter." But in order for me to get 2 sessions, I work full time, so in order for me to get 2 sessions in a day, I have to get up a little bit earlier because I start early. I start at 6 o'clock in the summer, so do 6 to 2. So I have to get up a little bit early just to get it done. But sure, if you're a professional, you have to do these things. These things have to be done. So I'm not complaining. I enjoy it.
Definitely not. As I say, if you complain, obviously it only makes things worse for you as well. Um,
Exactly.
I guess obviously 2022 obviously hasn't probably didn't start off too well for you. Obviously, Box in Ireland obviously decided that they were no longer going to be obviously doing shows and obviously promoting fighters. Was it sort of, I guess, probably a kick in the teeth, sort of, you come back, if your fifth pro fight, you go on happy days, now you're going to get a bit of consistency going and going to get fights regularly for obviously them Box in Ireland to fold. Did it leave you with a sort of sour taste in the mouth to go, you know, where do they go next? What do they do? Do they retire? Who do they find as a promoter? Did it sort of, I'm sure, it was sort of worrying times for you.
Yeah, it was because, like I said to you before, like I turned pro in 2018. Like I should have, like it's 2022 now. I should have at least 15 fights, 20 fights by now. Stopping and starting, like it's hard to stay motivated all the time, especially when you have the inactivity, like um, whereas you should be fighting every 2 or 3 months, like basically, But yeah, not knowing where to go. Because after the last show, it was good. They had a good. They said it was good as turnout at the last show, and everything went well. It was a successful night. And then there was talks of the show coming back to Dublin for the
Mm-hmm.
first time in 3 years, and it was announced the Dublin show for November in the basketball arena in Tala. And then obviously COVID and the pandemic then put the brakes on that, and that got pulled. And then I went into the new year, and the lads didn't know whether they're going to keep going or not. And then obviously it came out then that the were folding. So but yeah, worrying times for a bit. I was thinking, what do we do now? Where do we go? I had a couple of offers in with different managers and that, and then happy to get signed with Mark Dunlop then in the end. So all good then from now.
I know I'd sort of been mailing you. Obviously, I was sort of trying to keep my eye, my ear to the ground, sort of, and when people were looking for opponents and stuff like that, I was sort of seeing how things were for you, and I guess I don't know. The Magic Man always delivers. He obviously reached out to yourself and obviously reached out to Owen Duffy, who obviously Box in Ireland promoted, and obviously Owen O'Neill, and he sort of he sort of brought the best of sort of, I would sort of say the best of obviously what was obviously available on the table to him from obviously Box in Ireland that were no longer promoted. But I'm guessing obviously when Mark was interested, your ears were open, you were ready to rock.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I had a couple of calls of a few guys, had a few chats, had a chat with the coach, my coach Mark, and I was thinking like, where do we go? Like, what do we do? And then I had a chat with Mark Dunlop. Said he was interested in signing me. Had a good chat with him on the phone, and then just went on from there. And then now we're signed up, so ready to push on now on Mark, and hopefully kick things off in 3 weeks' time with a win.
3 weeks tomorrow. You're back in action. You face Craig McCarthy, who I believe
James,
James McCarthy. Sorry, Craig
James
McCarthy.
McCarthy, yeah,
James
yeah,
McCarthy. And I believe obviously I think his mother's from Belfast, his father's from Dublin. So there's a sort of domestic sort of feel to the sort of fight? I know James is obviously based in England, but do you know much obviously about James, or is it just blinkers on and let Mark obviously focus on picking the right opponents?
Yeah, exactly. That's what Mark said. He sent over the opponent. I never knew anything about him. Once I get the all clear off my coach, I'm ready to go. I'll get in with anyone. So I don't need. So no point even sending me opponents. I'll just say yes to them all. So once I get the all clear from my coach, he said yeah, happy to go. So but yeah, I believe he has a bit of Irish blood in him. McCarthy is a good Irish name, so I think his, like you said, his grandparents are a bit have Irish in them, or something like that. But maybe a tough guy. I think he's up for this fight. I've been told he's up for it, so he's coming over. So I'm expecting a good, hard, tough fight off James McCarthy, and we'll be ready for him in 3 weeks.
That's what you want. You obviously want to have tough fights. You don't want to sort of have someone you can blow over. You know, you sort of had the stabilizers on obviously at the start of your professional career and sort of getting the first few fights so that people can see what you're like. But now it's giving me tests. You know, you're obviously getting to the stage. You just turned 30 and stuff as well. So you obviously want to now start chasing down and getting titles.
Yeah, 100%. Like anyone can get in and knock out. Like a journeyman, you need journeyman on your record starting off. Like you need to build correctly. But the fights I call for them fights, these type of fights from the start. I love these fights. I want blood. I want war. I want everything. I want to give the crowd their money's worth. I want the entertainment every fight. Try to bring action every fight. I know it's difficult when you don't have the opponent, but this guy coming over, I believe he's well up for us, so it should be a cracking. I'm looking forward to a war, 6 round war. That's what I want. Hagler Hearns sort of thing. I want. I want off this guy, but I'll be ready. We'll be ready for him. But like I said, yeah, I'm 30 now, so time to start pushing on. I've had 5 fights, sort of done the apprenticeship. But now it's time to start, and believe sign with Mark Dunlop. He'll bring that for them fights for me. At this stage of the career, and it's just time to push on now, but just can't look past 3 weeks' time, James McCarthy. So looking forward to this fight now in 3 weeks. Had a good camp. I've done 8, 9 weeks for this camp, so I've done about 6 weeks or so for whatever is 6 weeks in so far. So I'm buzzing to get in there now in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
And I guess, you know, when you're probably seeing all the domestic, obviously, fights being done, obviously, too, Mark Dunlop promoted fighters, Rudy Farrell and Colin Murphy, obviously, were in action at on the Conlon Bill for
I
the.
watched that live. Yeah, it was a cracking fight. Fair play to the two guys.
I guess when you're seeing all these domestic action, these domestic fights happening, obviously, I know you've had a domestic fight with obviously Owen Duffy before, but does it sort of, for you as a fighter, you want to have domestic fights like you've seen Graham McCormick and obviously Donegan obviously fought for a belt as well. The domestic fights are sort of what you want now, isn't it? It's like, you know, I don't care, just give me whoever it is, tell me what the money is, and that's it.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I called for that from the start. Like I know you have to build correctly, and you have to start off like you have to do your apprenticeship in the game. But I've called for them. So I fought Duffy in my third fight. Like I agreed to fight an Irish guy in my debut, but like obviously with the BY, don't get hard to get these fights sanctioned. But I'm game for these fights from the start. That's what I want, especially now going forward, pushing on at this stage. All domestic fights start to get pushing on for titles now as well.
I guess, you know, I know there was I know Paul Ryan's obviously been doing a bit of rounds with Irish fighters, obviously had a bit of a go at Owen O'Neill, and I obviously mentioned your name as well, and you were straight on it. I guess maybe obviously it was a lot probably harder to fight to make previously because none of the two were obviously had a promoter and things like that. I guess obviously now that you're under the tutorage of Mark and obviously under his promotional banner, Mark will obviously make the decisions for you and probably less more so that you can make your own decisions now that sort of Mark will make them for you and obviously put the fights to you at the right times because then the day the promoter wants you to have the plan that he has, he wants to see where you can go and how far you can go.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what you have a manager for. Like I'll fight anyone, and that's why I put my name out there for the Paul Ryan fight because I seen that he was saying that that no one wants to fight him, and I know this. I've been in the same position. I've seen lads that don't want to fight me, basically being ducked constantly. So I just put it out there saying, yeah, I'm game for that fight. Once it makes sense for both of us, I'm game 100%. If you want it for a title or for not, no problem. But at the minute, I can't look past 3 weeks' time. The only thing on my mind is James McCarthy in 3 weeks' time in the Europa in Belfast.
I guess when you sort of look at the landscape, obviously domestically wise now at 154. I think Mark obviously mentioned the other day potential of obviously maybe doing a last man standing tournament, and maybe I don't know at some stage I don't know how to bring titles and stuff into it, but there could be the example there where you could become a Celtic, an Irish champion very very quickly. With the 154 fighters that's there, and I know that Colin Boxing have won as well, and Kieran Malloy. It could be something that could sort of happen very quickly, and I guess probably reinvigorate sort of boxing in a way that sort of boxing's back. It's been years since we've had what was the last? Was there a Super 8 or Super 6 tournament in Dublin? Connor Slater and stuff had done. Remember they'd done that the super
Yeah, the
middleweights.
last man standing there. That's right. Yeah,
Last man
yeah.
standing obviously be something that could reinvigorate and bring eyes back into boxing again. Everybody's sort of Colin Boxing's doing their thing, Mark Dunlop's doing his thing. Ian Corcoran's obviously involved in Mark Dunlop as well. And it seems to be reinvigorating boxing again, but a tournament probably thing for you would make sense at 154.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's loads of good guys around the weight, 154, even middleweight. You could even do a catchweight in between, whatever. Like, but no, there's plenty of good guys around the way, to do sort of a prize fighter tournament, and especially now with the likes of TG4 and if other TVs want to get on board, it'll be great for that, to get the audience in, and just like you said, give that boxing the boost that it needs because everyone loves watching a fight. It's just about getting the right backing, getting the right TV behind you at the right time. But like I said, a good sort of prize for the tournament that will just give it a boost that it needs.
TG Cahar obviously getting involved with the show, it's obviously going to mean probably a lot more for you, say, for instance, and some of the Belfast guys, because, it's as a dear weekend up to Belfast where people obviously having to come up. It's obviously going to mean a lot more people's going to be able to watch you. And I guess, when was the last time people were able to see you in action? Sort of people will all be sitting around a TV with beers and pizza in hand, obviously tuning in to watch you fight. I guess that's sort of going to mean a lot for you, obviously, in 3 weeks' time.
100%, because I haven't fought. I haven't fought in Dublin since the 24th of November 2018. That was the last time I fought in Dublin. Then I fought Duffy in Cork. So it's difficult for the likes of people that support me because I live just basically on the border between Dublin and Wicklow. I live in Bray.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult for people to come and support me. Like you said, the price of hotels, it's not a case of just buying a ticket for a fight and then drive. Like you have to book a hotel, you have to sort out babysitters, you have to do all this. So it's difficult for them, but like you said, having TV on board now gives them the opportunity to watch it and show their support again. So it's good to have the TV on board this time.
I think everybody knows where Bray's at because obviously they're our most famous boxer probably ever is from
Yup,
Bray,
Katie Taylor.
Katie Taylor. Obviously speaking of Katie, obviously what do you run out of words yet to obviously describe her? Obviously her fight with Amanda Serrano, it like probably looked in round five like she was going to go down and going to go down bad, and it just seemed to be that I don't know. It's just something happened between round five and round six. I think Ross had actually said to her, "Stay on her, stay close into her," and I was sort of going, "What?" She's getting mauled here. She's getting destroyed in the fifth round, and he's telling her to stay in close, and then all of a sudden, then just take over again.
That's a bright thing, Steve. That's a bright thing. You can't keep us down. We just keep coming. So you can hit us. You can hit us with a sledgehammer, and you keep coming. So
It's
it's the bright blood in her. You know what I mean? That's what's in me as well.
but obviously, I guess that sort of reinvigorates you when times are uncertain for you, and obviously being able to tune into the TV and watch Katie doing her thing. I guess it just had that buzz again, and then signing with Mark Dunlop, and you're going, this is working out perfectly.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with the TV on board. Like you put on a good show on TV. Like TV are going to want to get you back again because I'm sure, like, I'm not sure the ins and outs of it, but like, obviously, TV want title fights, you want excitement. So, if people want to see you, they're going to tune in. If you're going to bring excitement, they're going to want to tune in again and again. So, I believe you have to bring, like, professional boxing is about excitement, bringing excitement. That's what I try to bring to every fight, excitement, regardless if it's me getting cut or my opponent getting cut or excitement, knockdowns, knockouts. You have to bring excitement. That's what the pro game's all about. No one wants to watch a boring fight.
I don't think anybody wants to see any boring fights nowadays. I want to
No.
I sort of didn't prepare this sort of with you, but obviously I want to get your feeling. Obviously, in another domestic fight, it's going to be on the card. Obviously your former opponent Owen Duffy, and I was looking at maybe a time that maybe potentially obviously you and Dominic going at it. Is it sort of, I guess, whatever way the card works out, but what are you sort of feeling on that fight? Is it sort of, it feels to me sort of like a 50-50, and I know sometimes it's unfair to call a fight a 50-50. You're always sort of going to have a favourite. But from sharing a ring with one and obviously being a rival with another, is it something to you it feels, is there an age? Do you feel an age sort of to either fighter?
And see, it's difficult to like two good boxers, two very good boxers. Like Dom's a very good boxer. Like he hasn't had much luck recently in his fights, but I've done many rounds sparring with Dom. Dom's a very good boxer when he's on his game. And Duffy as well, like quality southpaw. Um, but just like how do you go with like Duffy's like he's had one fight since my fight. He had one fight last year. He had to go win out in Spain. But just judging by what Dom, because he hadn't had a good run the last few fights. Do you call it a 50-50? I don't know. It's hard to pick, but like just judging by the way Dom's been fighting, I'd pick Duffy to go outbox him on points maybe.
I guess it depends, and obviously, I know we've obviously had issues recently with the BUA and the British board, obviously allowing 6 or 8 round fights. I guess it'll depend on the distance of the fight. I know Owen hasn't done an 8 rounder before. Dominic's obviously come off an 8 rounder with Graham McCormick. He's got that experience. I guess that's probably just what boxing's all about now, and you want to have a really good 50-50 fight where people's going, geez, I don't know, why did you take that? So that you can prove what you are.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, but if obviously like if you're a professional and your fights, like what is an 8 rounder of fighting?
I think it's eight. I think it's down for 8, but it could potentially be 6. I guess it
Be
depends
six,
on
yeah,
obviously what the board allow.
but but obviously, yeah, Dom's had a bit of experience. He's went to 8 round distance. He got once or twice maybe. But obviously Duffy's been going to be preparing for 8 rounds. So he's obviously sparring 8-10 rounds, getting ready for it. So um, yeah, it's a tough one to call. Like who wants him on the night? You know, but two good lads, two good boxers. When they like, you can't like how do you judge it like by Dom's previous performances or by Duffy's previous performance? How do you judge it like? But just judging by that, you'd have to go with Duffy on points. Well, I would, but like two good lads, so not
And
taking
again,
anything away from either of them.
it's a Cavan clash as well, so it's
Yeah, there's a
local
bit
rivalry comes into it. You know, it's like you cut me, I'll cut you, sort of thing. You know, it's a sort of fight. I guess it probably make you jealous. It sort of you don't have that sort of fight, and you're sort of not to disregard your opponent, but you want to have a fight where somebody lives around the corner from you. So when you walk to the shop, you're all smiles, good fight,
yeah,
sort of thing. You know.
there's going to be plenty of bragging rights down in Cavan. I know they're like I think they're from the same town and all, aren't they? So
Yeah.
um, so plenty of bragging rights. So that'll give you even more motivation to put on a show and try to get the win. So I'm hoping to see a good fight between the two lads. Um, yeah, obviously, yeah. So it should be a good one, but obviously depends who wants them more on the night. Who's
Definitely does it.
hungrier?
And sort of finishing up in your own fight, obviously, then with James McCarthy, is it obviously a case of, as a pressure on you to obviously to perform and obviously front of Mark on your debut for him as a promoter? Is it sort of, because I know I've obviously seen you in action. I know what you're like when you start getting going. The hands don't stop. Is it sort of going out to impress Mark to show them that he's made the right decision, sort of in signing you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially my first fight under Mark. You obviously want to put on a show, but like taking nothing away, like I'm all action every fight. I always go in for the kill every fight. But when you go looking for it, it doesn't always happen. So you have to be clever about it in a way. But I'm always going for the knockout. Cruel intentions always in my fights. But we have to be clever about it too, you know. But yeah, I obviously want to put on a show, especially with TG4 getting behind it. You put on a show on this, they're going to want to get people back and they're going to want you on the show. They're going to say to Mark, says, we want to get that guy back on the show again. So, yeah, 100%. I'll be ready for a 6 round war.
Are you going to obviously do any fancy dress or anything? To obviously, the Tyrone McKenna or Sean McComb sort of thing where they dress up, they sort of impress. Have you anything planned for your walkout or anything like that, or just, it's pretty much it's just get in the ring, get the action, get it done, get out.
Yeah, I'm no frills, just I'm all action. I'm not into any of that stuff. But for the lads, the two lads are funny, all right. But no, I wouldn't be doing any fancy dress. So all action. I do the talking in the ring.
Definitely the best way. But look, obviously we know it's Friday. It's just after 2. Obviously the weekend's starting. I guess when the sun's shining, you normally be thinking maybe I'll have a beer or go out for something to eat. You three weeks left of camp yet before you can worry about any of that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure obviously we'll catch up in 3 weeks' time at the weigh-in in Belfast, and I'm sure we'll obviously look forward to getting another catch up with you again.
Yeah, 100%, Steve. No bother at all, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
Not a problem, Eddie. Cheers. Take care.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks.
Thank you
Bye
very much.
bye.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.